Hey people. Oh, Australians have been urged to be more aware of where their food comes from after a Nine News investigation. I mean, I don't know why we have to continue putting stuff like this out. People should already be asking where their food comes from and what's in their food. But anyway, here we go again. This time it's the meat. It's the toxic secret that could be contaminating the meat you buy from butchers, supermarkets, and fast food restaurants. A year-long Nine News investigation suggests authorities have been giving farmers the wrong advice about managing beef cattle contaminated with cancer-causing chemicals found in soil around the Richmond Air Base in New South Wales. While a few of us think about just what might be in the meat we eat, farmer Alistair McLaren does have an idea. Nine News has been testing his cattle for a year. Started when his cows were grazing on land 100 metres from the airbase in northwest Sydney. It's contaminated with toxic chemicals known as PFAS, PFOS and PFOA, previously used in firefighting foam. The results were alarming, with high levels detected across the herd. The Department of Primary Industries' advice is if cattle stay on the land and are given clean water instead of contaminated groundwater, PFAS levels would drop half within 165 days. Half of McLaren's herd remained on the Richmond farm and was switched to expensive town water. Retesting showed their levels didn't decline at all but rose. Now, don't forget, town water is what people drink, okay? So it's not just the cows, it's the people also. The other half was sent away to another farm feeding on clean grass. Their toxic chemicals levels did decline. The McLarens didn't want to sell their cattle, but with mounting bills were forced to, and they know cattle from contaminated land near bases around the country is entering the food chain. Butchers don't buy a rump steak, they buy the whole body of beef, McLaren said. It goes into their whole shop. They are unsuspecting victims in all of this, as everybody else is. Consumers need to be more aware, so they need to ask questions of where their beef comes from. Nine News has obtained a letter sent by the Australian Registered Cattle Breeders Association to the Prime Minister and Defence Minister. It warns producers in these contaminated areas are told that they can sell their animals for human consumption. The shit that they get away with. Producers have been told not to consume this meat. There is a serious potential threat to the Australian beef industry if it becomes public that animals with high levels of these cancer-causing chemicals are being allowed to enter domestic and export beef markets. Robert Billett is a US environmental lawyer whose 20-year billion-dollar legal win against chemical firm DuPont is the basis for the new film Dark Waters. While our federal health department says there's no link between exposure and serious health effects, Mr. Billett says that goes against scientific evidence. That extensive study done by independent scientists, including studying some 69,000 people drinking the chemical in their water out in West Virginia and Ohio, has confirmed links with serious disease, including 2 forms of cancer. No federal minister or department would comment. Of course not. Why would they? Why would they? They're not going to eat it. They're going to know where their food comes from. Do you know where your food comes from? Do you know what you're eating? Pretty fucking sad, you know? It's pretty sad that even when something like this is brought forward, that the government does nothing. They do nothing. They don't spend money on cleaning up the water. They don't spend money on cleaning up food, whatever, fixing the shit or the damage that they create. And yet, look here. Mr. Morrison, you know, the one that went on vacay to Hawaii when half of Australia was on fire? What does he want to do? Northern Territory RAF base set for 1.1 billion upgrade. We want to upgrade an airbase. The Morrison government will spend 1.1 billion upgrading the Northern Territory's Tyndall Air Base to accelerate the F-35 Joint Strike Fighting rollout and boost military ties with the United States. The improvements will include major runway extensions, fuel stockpiles, and engineering to support large aircraft like US Air Force B-52 strategic bombers and RAF KC-30 air-to-air refuelers, the Australian reported on Friday. Prime Minister Scott Morrison, who will visit the airbase near Katherine on Friday, says the upgrades were integral to Australia's alliance with the United States. What about the people of Australia and the food they're eating? What about the people of Australia and the water they're drinking? What, they don't get 1.1 billion upgrade? I've put out so many videos on the water that people drink, not just here in Australia, but everywhere. So many videos on what's in food and the genetically modified shit and all the other stuff. As this article here is saying, people still don't care. Nothing's going to change, people, unless you decide that you want to make a change. So this is, I doubt very much if this is just happening in New South Wales. Any base, anywhere where there's been any kind of firefighting, foam, chemicals, whatever, it's all going into the drinking water. And like I says, if people don't stand up and do something, nothing's going to change. Keep on drinking it, keep getting sick, keep wondering why and how all of a sudden you got sick, keep taking medication. Don't fix the underlying problem. Don't dare move to fix the underlying problem. But anyway, I'm putting it out there, just like 9 News put it out there, and you do with it what you want.